and where we're at right now, a lot of people have talked about quantum computing. We're in the age of artificial intelligence right now, for sure. And there's talks of artificial general intelligence. There's talks of emotional intelligence, robotics. Something I know that you've talked about before. Self-driving cars. So, what's your thesis on the current state of technology?
I think so the current state of technology is interesting, right? Because try to imagine the world, right, without no internet, right? Imagine like if the internet just cut off. It's really hard to imagine because it's so deeply integrated into our lives that it's hard for us to imagine a life without the internet now. And in the future, it's going to get to a point where we can't imagine a world without AI because it's going to be so deeply embedded into every single thing that we do, right, that we're not going to want to live without it. And AI is going to be a natural driver of GDP because, number one, the workforce is down. People don't have able bodies. But of course, it also democratizes access. There was 30 million people that benefited from computer science, people that deeply know it and can take advantage of the technology, right? Now you have another 7 billion people who's going to be able to utilize computer science in the form of AI because they won't need to have to code in order to use it because they can utilize it in any language. So AI is from a financial, from a spiritual, from a psychological, from a global standpoint, is changing everything and what it means to even be human, right? There's something called, and my focus is all about, as a futurist, I'm always trying to prepare us for what's ahead, right? And I think that cognition is the new gold, right? Your ability to think, to process, to synthesize information, right? To memorize things, because it's becoming harder and harder to think in a busy world, right? Where we're more distracted and we have less time than ever to deeply process what's going on around us, right? We have more technology than we even know what to do with. Absolutely. And not enough time to even know how to do the homework on each one of these tools on how it fits into our business and our vision, which is why I believe that the new focus is not going to just be about how do you take advantage of somebody's cognition, right? But more so, how do you optimize it? Because as it's something called cognitive surplus. So as we're using AI more and more to do rote and mundane tasks, we now have this cognitive surplus of thought, which usually sparks renaissances, right? It sparks new enlightenment, new types of thinking, new ways of perceiving things, right? So this is why I believe that AI is going to help spark the cognitive renaissance era that we're in, because thinking becomes the new goal itself, right? In an era where you got AIs thinking for you, the person who can still think for themselves, those become the elites.
So this is, I'm interested in hearing that gave me some context, right? But like we've had AI conversations for probably like 4 years now. So I wonder, has your thesis changed on it from being what I perceived you looking at it as a liberating tool versus being a weapon to control a generation? Where do you stand now? Based on what you said, I think I got an idea, but where are you at now with that?
It's a bit of both, right? It's a double-edged sword. So you can go look at the military papers on cognitive security, and they look at the fact that, AI is being used for infrastructures of these governments so that they can use it to influence what you believe, right? Now, if you don't have a way of cognitive defense, a mental firewall to stop somebody from manipulating you, then of course you look at the people who are the most susceptible to manipulation, or the people in poverty, low education, right? Stress, right? Disease, all of those things. Then who fits that bill, right? Our community, specifically Black men, if we're looking at that segment of population, right? And so AI also gives us this opportunity to say the revolution already happened because we already have all of the tools we ever tried to fight for. So now it's saying that we can actually start our renaissance now, where we reawaken things and have this surplus of new music, new enlightenment, new thought, new ways to do business, new ways to execute. But if we can't control our minds, then none of it matters, right? And the fight, like America America don't have any borders for real, because China, Russia, and any country can influence Americans. America has a hard time of influencing Chinese people and Russians and North Koreans, right? But they can run psyop campaigns to make you think something different than you believe, and you connect your identity to that. And now that shifts you over to a political party, right? Or creates conflict in America. So the thought of American citizens itself is the most vulnerable aspect of American society, right? And so when I think about AI, I think about it as a great tool for a renaissance, right? But only for people who are also having a cognitive and conscious renaissance at the same exact time.